Hello everybody, Kyle here. I am going to review the 5th episode of House of the Dragon. It dropped a couple of days ago. I've been a bit busy lately, so I haven't been able to get out this review right after it dropped, but I watched it and I have to say it is quite possibly my favorite episode of the season. I think that this episode should be nominated for all the Emmys, for writing, for directing, for acting. I think that it really got so many things right in terms of the tension, in terms of the conflicts between all the characters that have been building up from the first episode. We got a lot of conflict between really the Valerians and the Targaryens, and you can tell that King Viserys is really sick and really ill, and he looks like he's not even going to make it the next morning, let alone the next 10 years, according to some of these other maesters that are talking about his age. And we know that based on the trailer for next week, he will be in the next episode, which will be about 10 years later. So I thought it was really interesting to see a man that is dying, and at the same time I think his own house is dying, and it's this great juxtaposition of both like a metaphor and the literal death of this king. But we also have a lot of things being unraveled. The relationship between Sir Kristen and Rhaenyra has really reached its breaking point in this episode, and when Sir Kristen says to Rhaenyra, "Come, run away with me, forsake your duties as queen or heir to the throne," she doesn't want to do it. She says that this is what my family's been priming me to be the next heir. I cannot forsake the throne, and you can still be my lover, but you cannot, I won't run away with you. I will not marry you. And on one hand, you think that Sir Kristen, he should, accept what she's offering him, because it's not like she's saying, "I don't want anything to do with you anymore." She clearly still loves him, but I can kind of understand where he's at, because he sees that she's queen, and there's a chance that maybe she won't love him as much in the next year, and their relationship could fade, and by them not getting married, she's no longer faithful to him. She has no basic, she's not binded to him at all, so she can do what she wants, and he doesn't like that. That can be seen as controlling, but it's also, I think, he still loves her too. So he doesn't want her to not marry him, to, be this queen and, be with other men possibly. And the other problem too is on her end. I can understand where Rhaenyra's coming from, because if she, leaves with him, how does she know he won't leave her? And she is essentially being given $1 billion, all the money in the world, and she could throw it away just to be with a man that she's been sleeping with probably for the last couple of months. But it's a really interesting dynamic there, and you can see how unhinged Kristen is, and what he does to Sir Joffrey, or not Sir, but Joffrey, one of the characters. He is the lover of Laenor. He just beats him and kills him, and it's this horrifically violent scene, which is a little bit more violent than we've seen in House of the Dragon in the last couple of episodes. Like, this episode really did feel like Game of Thrones, aside with all of the political intrigue, with the romance, and with, even at the end of the day, the violence. And it was so well told. It opens with this incredibly shocking sequence of Daemon killing his wife, and what's really cool about this entire show is how they are adapting the book. And in the book, it just says that she is killed in a hunting accident or a fall from a horse, but they really do a great job in this show of enhancing what the book gives us, and it doesn't feel like they are changing things. Like sometimes you can see even Game of Thrones has changed circumstances of characters from the books, but here I think they are doing a really clever job of staying consistent with the novel, but at the same time adding things to it to make it even better. And what I also like is I can see some people even criticizing the show where, oh, we didn't spend enough time with Sir Kristen and Rhaenyra. Really, they only have, I would say, like 3 or 4 scenes in these 5 episodes together. But I think what's so cool about this show with the time jumps is you can say to yourself and you can think in your head that they did have many, many moments together. And I think that's one of the best parts about the time jumps, is that by them skipping over these periods of time, it cuts the fat, and we might lose, another great scene or dialogue between Kristen and Rhaenyra, but at the same time, we are never bored watching the show, and the pacing just moves and moves along, which is something that can't be said for some other TV shows, like on Disney Plus, that are either way too short or they kind of lose you. Even the Rings of Power on Amazon right now, I feel the way it has been paced has been a bit too slow. But House of the Dragon is just perfectly paced and perfectly written. And it's the most disappointing thing about this episode is that it is Millie and Emily's last episode of this season. They did a great job. Emma Darcy and Olivia Cooke will be playing those roles later on. But I think what should be said is that Millie and Emily really captured the young naivety and innocence at a point in this show that I believe the writers and the showrunners were going for when they decided to cast younger actors to play these roles. And I am really looking forward to seeing Olivia and Emma play them at a much older age. Well, not much older, but a 10-year age difference. So I think that when we get to next week, it's going to be interesting to see what is different, how has things changed in Westeros and in this show. But I thought that this episode was outstanding, and I cannot wait to see the next week. And also, I think that I have hope we will see Millie and Emily again. I would prefer them to split every season into 2 timelines with the young actors and the older actors. But if that isn't, likely, then they could still just show flashbacks of Millie and Emily, because I feel like they are so good that it's going to be really interesting to see how, if they ever do decide to continue the show without them. Because I don't even think the showrunners knew how big Millie and Emily would be and how well received they would be by the audience. So I think they're going to have to come back because they are just too popular. And also I think that there are still some stories that they could tell in between this 10-year gap that they'll probably do. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know, did you enjoy episode 5 of House of the Dragon? And what do you think about the show so far? So, thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.